So in this video, I'm going to reveal the secret to get beautiful sculpted arms that you will be proud to flaunt. When it comes to training arms, and more specifically biceps, there are two exercises that will really give you more shape and definition faster than any others. What if I told you the secret to shapely arms is a single, often overlooked factor? Now, this might be a game changer for a lot of you, but it's proper form. And a lot of times people think they know how to do proper form, and they're not doing it even close to what should be proper form. We're about to uncover the mystery of proper form, the delusion of common mistakes, and how to safeguard your body from any injury that would ultimately stop your progress and maybe even keep you sidelined from the gym. So the real secret to shapely arms is how you perform the exercises and how many sets and repetitions you do and the according weight. Correct technique and posture during biceps training is the forgotten element. And it is the night and day difference between seeing your arms change and not. Well, there's actually 4 reasons why some people get better results than the other. And the first one is consistency and dedication. Staying consistent on a program is going to allow your muscles to grow, and you want them to grow. They're not going to get big, but we're talking about muscle tissue that actually is lean and takes up less space. That's why they look more shapely and defined. The second is progressive overload. You've got to challenge that muscle continually. And if you reach a plateau where the muscle doesn't really want to get much stronger, then you change the program, you change some of the different parameters, but there's always a way to progress and put more challenge into that muscle one way or another. And that's true whether you're just going for tone or if you're going for bulk. So when you actually understand and implement how to progressively overload your muscles, then you're going to start to see changes. If you just keep doing the weight all the time with X amount of repetitions, then you're not going to change your muscles at all. So it takes that progressive overload and that mind-muscle connection, which we'll get into in a little bit. The third reason why some people get better results than others is they use proper form. They're very strict in their form. They actually isolate the biceps better by doing proper form rather than going for a certain amount of weight or a certain amount of repetitions. So there is that mind-muscle connection again and that proper form. And when they are aligned, then your changes are going to come very quickly. Now, the fourth one, sorry, don't have much to do about, it is genetics. So some people are just blessed. And I actually have seen some of these people that have just been blessed with biceps and they really don't do anything at all. But you know what? That's not most of us. So let's get to work. Now, one thing that is for sure, when you go to the gym, biceps are one of the favorite body parts of everyone to work, but they can also cause some serious injuries. Proper form is going to give you results. Improper form is going to give you an injury or no results at all. It's not worth ever compromising your form. There's a specific way to work a muscle and make sure that muscle is the one that is working rather than just lifting a weight up and down. So we're going to get into that in a moment. So the hammer curl works mainly the biceps brachialis. And what that is a muscle that's underneath the bicep that gives it more shape. It kind of pushes up underneath your bicep and gives that nice little hump that everybody likes when they say, show me your bicep. So hammer curls are basically your hands in the form of banging a hanger. When you do a hammer curl, just like with any other exercise you do, you start with your posture. You don't just rush into it. You pull your shoulders back, down, you soften those knees a little bit, you pull your stomach in tightly. So with your shoulder blades engaged, your body's going to be in a perfect posture. Then the hands keep by your side, and we're going to come up and down slowly. So the elbows actually move a little bit behind you as you come upward. So as the arms come up, that upper arm is going to stay in that exact same position. It is not going to drift forward. It is not going to come up to your shoulders. So if you see, when I bring this up, it comes towards my shoulders a little bit, but it's not on top of my shoulders. You see the difference? Now my arm just went from here to here. And that's not what you want to do. That's going to hurt your shoulders. So you bring it up here. Now, if you start to see that the dumbbell is coming towards your face, then you know those arms are coming forward and you're wrong. So it should just go here to here. You're just folding your arms upon themselves. Now, at the very top of this is another key factor. You're going to squeeze that bicep. I know, hard to think you would have to do that. But at the top, you squeeze that bicep. Yes, you will feel that forearm. And the forearms are really important because that is your grip, and you use your grip in everything you do, whether it's opening a jar, opening a door, grabbing a dumbbell. So yes, you will feel your forearms as well. As you maintain your posture and do your exercise, you might find one of two things happening when you fatigue. You might not bring it all the way up. Now you're ending up halfway here, and that's going to pull your shoulders forward and also hurt yourself. You're also going to find that maybe you try to help yourself and maybe sway back. That's a little exaggeration, but you get the idea. Keep in mind, it's only about how you do the proper form. It's not getting the dumbbell from here to here. That's not the most important part. The most important part is engaging that bicep to pull that arm upward. So when you are doing the exercise, you want to think about that bicep. You want to focus on that bicep, not only squeezing at the top, but also staying tight as you slowly lower. Now, a couple of problems that people have. Some people just grip too tightly all the time. They're stressed out, they grip too tightly. So if that's you, then don't grip it with the thumb over. Use the false grip. It's not going to fall out of your hand, okay? It's still going to stay there, and you can just as easily do it. You just take out a little bit of that forearm action, and that way you're not stressing your hand. You're actually able to focus on the biceps. Now, I was just doing them both at the same time. You can also do alternating, which obviously means one and then the other. The one thing you want to do is, again, do it slowly. Biggest mistake I see is people doing them too fast, doing every exercise too fast. So you want to come up, engaging that bicep, keep that bicep tight on the way down. Because if you're actually using your bicep, the rest of your body is not going to move. It's just going to be that elbow joint. And the elbow joint is, well, what you're working. That's your bicep. So nice and slow. You don't want to swing. If your body's moving, you're not working your bicep. You also don't want to like throw it over your shoulder. I've seen some people do that. So let's keep in mind the whole purpose of your bicep is elbow flexion, to bring it up and down. Try to vision your bicep curling up and getting tight in the middle, and then keep it tight on the way down. The more emphasis you put on that lowering and keeping it tight, the faster you're going to get some of your results. Now, when it comes to weight, you always want to choose a weight that's well appropriate. It's one that you can do. And there's a 1 rep max calculator for that. So you can watch that video on how to use that 1 rep max calculator, but basically you figure out how much weight you use, let's say for 8 repetitions, and then you can put it in there. It doesn't have to be 8 maximum repetitions, just 8 repetitions, and at least it gives you a good starting place. Now, keeping a workout log is going to be vital so that you can continually progress and overload those muscles. If you keep doing the same thing all the time, body's not going to change. So here's a bonus tip, something that a lot of people don't know. Starting with your posture, doing your exercise, everything's going great, then you start to fatigue. Then you start to cheat, then you're going to hurt yourself. But you're supposed to get from here to here. Well, no, you don't really have to. If you're fatigued, you're going to use that muscle to get that as far as you can. If you can't get it all the way to the top, then you just hold it, whatever that weak point is, and lower it with the proper form. So you don't have to get it all the way up to the top, especially when you're fatigued. You just have to get it wherever the bicep can take it. And if the bicep can't take it all the way to the top and it's too fatigued, again, you get it where you can, keeping the rest of your body in that perfect posture, in that perfect form, and you put that stress on the biceps, and maybe you try to use only the biceps to lift and you don't get anywhere. That's okay. That's going to strengthen them, and the strength is going to give you shape. So get it where you can, not where you think it's supposed to go, and then lower slowly, and you're done with your set. Doesn't matter if your goal was 8 repetitions and you only got to 6. It doesn't matter if your biceps are done, they're done. The goal is to fatigue the biceps. It's those parameters of the number of repetitions and the weight that would be appropriate for that that's going to do those changes. It doesn't mean that you absolutely have to get to 8 repetitions or 10 repetitions. If your biceps fatigue at 6 or 7, then your work is done. That's why it's so important to stick with that proper form, so that it's only the biceps that are challenged and the rest of the body is just there to help stabilize you. So yes, excuse the dribble, that it was from my water bottle, not me drooling. So when you are doing your bicep hammer curl, your elbows are relaxed here at your side. They stay pointed to the ground. They are not going to push in. If you pin them to your side, you're stressing your shoulders, and you're rounding your shoulders forward too, which is going to affect your neck and potentially injure that as well. And it's an old school thought. I don't know why people still do it, but they still say that. So it should come up and down. Your elbows stay pointed to the floor. If anything, you can pull the elbows back as you come up. So right there, elbows stay right there by your side. And if anything, if you're worried about it, just let your elbows go back. See, I just pulled my elbows back. It's hard to even tell that I did that. Pulling my elbows back versus this one, just keeping them straight at the bottom, versus this one, which is bad form, coming forward. So hopefully from that, you can tell the difference and know how to do it correctly. So the other exercise is called the reverse curl. And you may be familiar with barbell curls, hands going this way. And just like you can do that with dumbbells too, it's a curl. A curl is a curl is a curl. That's why it's a hammer curl. That whole motion is a curl. The biceps only do so much. They're a small body part. So when we do a reverse curl, well, the hands are going to be facing reverse. Elbows are still going to stay in close to your side. Now here's the thing. You're going to be weaker in this position, so you won't be able to use a lot of weight. And many times you'll have fixed barbells in the gym that start at 20, 25 pounds, and that might be too much for you. Well, then what do? Most gyms do have what's called an easy bar, and that's one that looks like this. It's curvy, okay? It's got this EZ pattern, and those are the two letters. So you can usually find one, and they're about 15 pounds. That makes a perfect way to start with. Now, let's say you get the 15-pound barbell, and that's still too heavy, but you can do one or two, that's fine. You do one or two perfect reps with the perfect form, and then you'll eventually get stronger. That's just how it's going to work. So just like with the hammer curl, you can grab with the thumbs over, or you can grab the false grip with the thumbs on top. I guess that's really the thumbs underneath. So with the thumbs underneath or the thumbs on top. Also, like that hammer curl, you're going to start with your perfect posture. Shoulders are back and pulled down. You're actually engaging your shoulder blades right here, and you're pulling your stomach inward. Knees are slightly bent. That takes some of the pressure off of your lower back. Elbows are close to the side. They're not sucked in and touching your side, which is a common mistake. They're just relaxed out to the side. Then you're going to bend at those elbows and bring that up to the chest. So you are curling that just like you did that hammer curl. Your elbows are staying pointed to the ground. They're not moving forward. You're not rounding forward. The elbows stay pointed to the ground. And then you lower slowly. Now the other thing is when you squeeze at the top, yes, you're squeezing your biceps and your forearms. And you're going down slowly. Again, this is a great exercise for shape in the biceps. And of course, also that grip strength. Now, when you come down, you want to make sure you control it in that same motion. So a big mistake I see a lot of people do is they bring it up, and then for some reason they kind of push it away from their body and down. So I don't know what that's about, but don't do that. So from the side, you're going to see that the elbows are going to still point to the ground, and it's going to come up to where the wrists are straight. Okay, you're not going to cock the wrists back. You're not going to let them flop forward. You're going to keep them straight. When we talk about a straight wrist, for a lot of people, it's going to be a little bit forward. Most people actually have their wrist back a little bit. So a straight wrist for you might actually feel like you're curling it forward, but that is a straight wrist. And that's very important also in order to hit the biceps correctly. Now, when it comes to the curl bar, you can see there's a couple of different places you could grab it. Normally, for the reverse curl, you want to get that middle part right there, and then just kind of let it roll into your thumbs. So when you first pick up the barbell, it's kind of upside down. So the easiest way to get in that position is to just go ahead and bring it up. It'll be upside down, and then put your thumbs here, let it wrap around, and get into a good, comfortable position here. And then if you want to move the thumbs over the top, that's fine. But if you try to get your hands in that position at the bottom, for some reason, it's just never comfortable. So trust me on that. Just take that bar up to your chest and then get it all set, pull those shoulders back, keep them there, and you're on your way. So the same rules apply here. You're not going to swing. I mean, I know that's an exaggeration, but what I see a lot of is people going like this and down. And they almost have no negative, which you always want to go slowly because that's going to work you more efficiently. They'll kind of go here and drop it. So you don't want to do that because as you see, when I drop it, my body comes forward. So that's putting stress on my shoulders, my neck, and my back. So don't want to do that. Always start every exercise, perfect posture. Maintain that perfect posture. Just like with the hammer curls, if you start to lift it and you're stuck, you don't change. You try to stay within that proper form. If you can't get any higher than this because you're fatigued, then you're done with your set. If you get it up maybe to here and you think about really pulling and you can get it to the top range of motion, great. But don't force it. Okay, don't start moving your body around to get it up there. It's just not worth it. And it's really not giving you any extra work that's of any benefit. Now, when it comes to your sets, you want to go also about 8 to 10. If you're trying to really build a big muscle, your reps would be more like 4. Again, women, we're not going to have the size of muscles that men have. We don't have the testosterone, so don't worry about that. Do worry about feeling that muscle working, okay? You're working the bicep. It goes from here to here. That's it. That's all it does. So if anything else is moving besides that elbow joint, you're not doing it right. All right, here's another bonus tip. To stretch the biceps, you can take your arm straight out, put it against the wall, thumb against the wall, and just slowly turn away. Now, maybe there's not a wall near you. How do you stretch them? Well, you take it open on the diagonal, palms face forward, and you push them back. Body stays straight. So in this position, I can squeeze my shoulder blades a little bit, open up my chest, and I'm also stretching the biceps. And then, of course, you also want to go the opposite direction just to make things even. So if you're looking to see how much rest you need between sets, do your stretch. That'll be about enough time. Another bonus tip for you, if you are working your biceps, you can also stretch your triceps, which is the opposite muscle, to help give a little faster recovery to the biceps. So your tricep stretch is the arms overhead. You take that one arm, you bend it behind your head, you keep your neck straight, and you kind of work your hand down like you're trying to itch your back. And that way you feel it from the elbow down to the tricep. And that being the opposite muscle of the bicep is going to help it loosen as well. Plus your muscles are warm in that whole area, so it's going to be a much more effective stretch. And then, of course, do both sides. And that way you're stretching while you're resting and saving yourself that time. In order to get the most out of your program and see the fastest results, you need to have proper nutrition. And to learn more about proper nutrition, you can go to my playlist on my YouTube channel, Fitness Makeover, and find nutrition for fat loss and lean body. You'll also find there the video on the diet cycle, which tells you why it's so important to eat a certain way in order to maintain a higher metabolism and keep your body fat down. If motivation is an issue for you, check out the whole playlist on motivation with different tricks and tips to keep you on top of your program and different meditations and affirmations to keep you moving forward in your progress so you can get your best body ever.